Hello, hello, and thank you for joining me. This time I'll be playing as the Vorcha engineer. The idea behind the class is to use Bloodlust for remarkable durability, submission net to control things, and incinerate as a combo detonation and staple damage source. It works pretty well, but I do struggle quite a bit with Banshees. I'm taking the thermal clip storage because I don't really care. For submission net, I opted for the damage, recharge, and electrified net upgrades, which helps submission net actually apply crowd control to a really large group, actually, the radius of 6 meters. So as long as I've got one dude in the net, he can entangle everyone else around him. And for Incinerate, I took radius, recharge speed, and damage against armor targets. I probably should have taken damage, given how I actually end up using it, but it works out alright. For Bloodlust, I went with health regeneration basically at every option, which gives me a ton of actual durability. Uh, Fitness, I went for health. Vorcha resilience, I went for weight and power damage. But let's get this ball rolling. See how it goes. Now, because it's just the two of us and he's only level 13, we kind of want to take our time. I didn't get a chance to really see what weapon he's using, but he is using the power amplifier on the weapon. So he'll be wanting to sit back and spam powers about the same way I do. The N7 Sentinel I haven't looked at too much. So now one of the things to keep in note with the submission net is you can actually kind of use it like a mine. If you throw it on the ground, it'll linger and stay on the ground for a few moments. The other really big thing to keep in mind with the class is that the submission net hits targets based on where you started casting, not where you finished it. Which means that you can actually look away as soon as you start the ability activation, which is actually pretty useful sometimes. Fuck, guy got knocked down again. I can't pick him up. And you can see the regenerating health bars on the bottom of the screen. I'm a lot more durable than bugs. I forgot to show it, but the Vorcha have very low shields and moderate to high health, but their health regeneration is incredible. When I get full stacks, the Bloodlust will give me something like 500 health regenerated per second. Although I am still vulnerable, of course, to anything that would just outright kill someone. So sync kills from the large monsters and things like grenades are still problematic. But I am much tougher than normal. This is a bug that happens sometimes. He was affected by the submission net, you just can't see it. Another important thing to note is that barriers and shields will not protect from the submission net's control effect. Meaning that I can control enemies like phantoms even while their barriers are still up, which makes Cerberus actually a lot easier to deal with. Although the Dragoons would be immune to the control part entirely. And the submission net says it does a ton of damage to armor, but I'm just not seeing it. I don't know if I'm missing something. Another thing to talk about with Bloodlust, because this is the first Vorcha I've gotten. The Bloodlust operates on a stack basis, where simply having the ability active counts as one stack, and additional stacks are granted every time I get a kill, which, as you've seen, can stack up pretty quickly, but the stacks are temporary. They expire in just a few moments, and that rearing back effect happens when I've reached max stacks, It will knock you out of cover, but generally you're durable enough that getting knocked out of cover is more annoying than threatening. Excuse me, Abomination. The overall, though, I'm really liking this class. Its ability to apply effective crowd control to the enemy is pretty amazing. And because it primes for tech bursts, as you saw the blue flash of light there, the class is no slouch on damage, but like I was saying, I do struggle quite a bit with Banshees, but other than that, I've never had any problems. Alright, so we got a third player now. They managed to knock him down and execute him before I could get over, which is unfortunate, but it happens. He probably shouldn't have gone too far away from me. I was kind of his anchor for a while. But this is going pretty well, and now we've got a full group just in time for the missions to start actually getting difficult. And Scions. The Scions and Ravagers can still knock me down pretty quickly, mostly because they just do an extremely high amount of damage to begin with. But at the same time, taking a few hits from them will drop my health very low, but won't kill me, and I will regenerate rather quickly during their cooldown. And here, this party's got quite a lot of combos going on in the background. We're hearing a lot of cryoblasts. I also apologize if the audio is a bit different than you're expecting. I'm attempting to equalize game audio and my voice so that you can hear a little bit better. I've also played with my mic settings a bit, and I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work out. Actually, the Praetorian might be a bit difficult for me too. He has kind of the same power shield, but the Banshee basically just has it always active. And that's really what makes the Banshee difficult, is that she's just permanently immune to powers. The Praetorian, however, I can prime with the net, burst with the Incinerate. The Incinerate I spec for increased armor damage, mainly because of having to deal with things like this. And actually, given how much damage Incinerate does, it might be beneficial for me to just spam Incinerate on armored targets. I'm gonna start doing that. And there you can see it staggered the trooper in the back and gave me more than enough time to finish off both of them. And the net lasts for a good time too. It's several seconds. And that's more than enough to get off an Incinerate, or depending on what's going on, I actually use it sometimes to crowd control one area and I'll focus on another spot, which kind of frees up my attention without sacrificing any ability to survive. And that can be a big problem with Reapers and with Collectors, because the husks and abominations are just so numerous. Group took that guy down fast. I had to check to make sure it wasn't a missile launcher. And I can stun the abominations instead of outright killing them, which means they don't immediately detonate, and it gives everyone time to move out of the area. You can see my health fluctuating, but for the most part, these things can't hurt me. The Vorcha melee attack is actually really strong too. It should not be underestimated by any stretch. Let's see. Yeah, that's right, I was gonna just spam fire on the armored things. I will still be using tech bursts on possessed units and praetorians, because tech bursts are much better against shields, but simply spamming incinerate on armored opponents, I can do that. This is bad. Would not be here. Even though I didn't take any upgrades for my actual melee damage, I'm still able to do quite a bit. And unlike a lot of the characters, the Vorcha kind of thrives in melee. Even without putting points into it, every stack of Bloodlust increases my speed, and I believe it increases my melee damage. Essentially, going hand to hand against a Vorcha is not a good idea for almost anybody. But that said, anything that can sync kill will have no problem dealing with you in melee. And that's just the nature of the beast. And yeah, I'm gonna kill that abomination. I'm not gonna just let him be stunned. Let's see. Yeah, see there's a possessed scion, so I'll kill this abomination. Alright, shields are down. I wasn't paying attention. The grenades from a possessed scion are still threatening. I just didn't move in time, that was on me. Back into cover. Honestly, with this build, I think I probably should have brought the Acolyte. The Acolyte specializes in removing shields and barriers, and that's kind of my weak spot. And just generally hits like a truck anyway. Why shoot twice when you can shoot once, right? And I'm gonna have a melee him. There were just too many big things in that hall, I didn't feel like dealing with them. No, there are no big things in that hall. Easy. That little corridor. Alright. It looks like that Sentinel is actually trying to use the build that I'll be using. Discharge some bullets. This one still has his barrier up. So I'll tech burst. The Vorcha is actually rather mobile too, which is nice. we done? Yes. This is an awful place for an objective. That corridor is just not good. It's just a killing field. I did manage to get some more meta gel, so I'm not going down like that. Finish that guy off. Sounded like it was over here. Yep. Excellent. So now the evac will be in this corner up here, or it'll be down in the landing zone. Alright, so it's down in the landing zone. That's fine. I'll stay up here and plan on doing defensive depth. And that is a possessed Praetorian. Ah, damn it. I failed on the cover. Possessed Praetorians are seriously nasty. Okay, that was a missile launcher. And here you can see he's throwing out the snap freezes and I'm detonating the explosions with Incinerate. Which I feel like that's both of our builds just kind of working out ideally. One of us priming combos, the other one detonating. Works out rather well. And we're still got 20 seconds on the clock. Pretty hectic. This is necessary. I don't think the rest of the team would have survived 3 abomination detonations on them. I have the advantage of being slightly more durable than most. But, full extraction. So with that said, thank you for joining me and I hope you enjoyed.